Hi, my name is Christo Tekel, and I've joined the MSc in Contemporary Chinese Studies in 2013. And one of the reasons for founding the Oxford-Sino Alliance is really to connect with some of the brightest people in the field of China.
The China Center here is a fantastic center that combines the best academics in the field of Chinese studies. It attracts the best minds from all over the world, and I think as it combines the people with the best expertise in China, it's a perfect place to study the country. Oh, the people that I met here are extremely interesting. I think everyone has a very special and unique character. We all come from different places and we all have a different academic background. Most of us have studied social science before, but there is a few students that did science, business or humanities. But even though we all come from different places, we share at least one common thing, a great interest in China.
Oxford has one of the most famous Chinese departments in the world, and with the academics and with the resources they have, which is also very important, Oxford has established itself as one of the leading research centers in Chinese studies, both contemporary and Asian Chinese studies.
The word I would use would be intense. We have a fairly compact class schedule, not so many hours a week, but you've always got 5 things on your mind. Whether it be your thesis, which has been a process that has taken all year, or exams that are coming up, or meetings you've got with your supervisor in which you don't want to look stupid. There's always something on, so it's been a very, very intense year, and that intensity has been great. Stressful at times, but great. I think I wouldn't go as far as saying it's unique, but it is very close to unique. There are a few universities in the world, I think, that could offer the depth and the range of study that is on offer here. So I came into the program, obviously, looking to study China and learn more about China. And I have, but at the same time I've learned so much more from interacting with colleagues and fellow students, and through members of the department as well, who have an incredibly broad range of knowledge. As I was saying, it's the range of knowledge. I knew roughly going into the course what I would learn on the course, but it's been as much the conversations that I've had outside the classroom that have been the most inspirational. Those with members of staff who are more than happy to sit down and talk to you. I've dropped in on people's offices and had hour-long chats with them, apropos of nothing, and they've been very happy for me to do that. And then also from fellow students who really come from a diverse array of backgrounds. So I think it's those two things, the outside course discussions you have with both students and faculty.
And also, I've learned from my peers, so that experience had been very precious. From my understanding, they all come from different countries, ranging from Australia, the United States, America, and Western and Eastern Europe. And they have backgrounds in business, international relations, intergovernmental affairs, any fields you could imagine. So that made our class very interesting. We often held very exciting class debates where everyone brings in their perspectives.
So that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. And why would you study China here in Oxford then? Well, I lived and worked in China for nearly 2 years, and it was a fascinating experience. And in 2 years, I was really, again, looking at China from that business angle, and I was studying there as well. But that was just one perspective of China, and you really need an interdisciplinary view on China, looking at China from various lenses. And by doing that, you get a better image of China. And that actually led me here to Oxford to study contemporary China here, because that's exactly what you get. So if you would join this program, I can recommend to take initiative. But if you do that, the professors will really care for you. And I think the knowledge and skills that I've gained in these 9 months will be valuable the rest of my life. So I'm very grateful for this experience.
The course is pretty intense because it's only 9 months, and in the 9 months you have to write your dissertation and you have to take two option courses. We study research methods as well, and we do the course on contemporary China. So there's a lot of things that you have to finish in 9 months. The life here is definitely intense. You have to combine your academic work and the very vibrant social life, but it's definitely worth it. And even though the 9 months are very intense, you should do it. If you can, that would be experience of your life.
I prefer to build up this kind of trust and friendship accumulatively, so that one day probably we can help with each other. Yeah, I would love to make friends with different people, so I just enjoy the process. Yeah.
Well, it is a bit like a bubble here. You live in a very nice bubble, but when you release to the real world, it is different. I think you take the memories with you, and they will accompany you for the rest of your life. And I think you draw from the experiences and from the people you met for the rest of your life. I just caught up with one of my best friends from the course last week. He came over from the US. So, of course, in a globalized world, people just travel and take on jobs in different countries. But of course, it's still bonding when you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook. So the connection will always be there. And when you travel to a city where you know that one of your classmates is working there or living there, you will surely meet up. So the connection is definitely still there. If I travel around the world, if I went to other cities, and I would actually look up on the list who lives in that city, who can I get in touch with, and to see what the younger generation, the next generation who's doing that course, what they're interested in, how the course is transforming, what interests they are. I think you can not only create a networking system where people just get together, but also a knowledge base. When people are researching certain questions or current students need help from people who have done the course and who are already working in that field, I think that'd be a great advantage for them to be able to just go into the website and contact alumni who will be, I believe, willing to help.
Well, the Oxford-Sino Alliance, the advantage of it is really that you all share a shared experience, right? You have gone through the same program and you have an attraction to China. So that is already a way to build trust. But beyond that, to really connect with people that are much older than you is quite nice because they can act as mentors. Or even, let's say, you're traveling to Beijing for a business trip. It will be really nice to kind of see who's in the city and maybe go for a drink or share your experiences and thoughts on China.
Well, I feel like because you've been to Oxford, people are going to get somewhere. They're not just going to be like, I don't know, they're not going to waste their life on something else. I mean, I feel like there will at least be someone who's successful and they'll be like, oh, I went to class with them, we're classmates. So I think it is really valuable, and it's interesting, even if it's not from Oxford anyway, from any other universities, it'll just be interesting to see how people turn out in the end, and yeah, just to see how your friends work out in a couple of years' time and just reunion and reunite. I would help them out. I mean, it depends on, if they ask me a question, I'd just tell them and probably message. I mean, that's happened before, like somebody's asked me about this course and I've told them like, oh, it's great, and if you want to give me a call, just like whatever, and I just gave them like my thoughts on this.
I would use it because I'm new to Shanghai. When I moved to Shanghai, I probably will connect with Oxford alum and class alums in that region first, and learn from them, and perhaps students from alums from the same industry.
I think Oxford-Sino Alliance is a great initiative, and it's always really important to keep in touch with people because it's not only about what you know, but also about who you know. So for OXA, the networking platform that connects all the people that studied China, we can always keep in touch, we can always interact with each other no matter where we are. I think it's especially important to network with people in China. So the more people you know, the better. And I think that because we all share the same expertise, we all have knowledge on China, it's really important that we all stay in touch.
Well, I was working in journalism before this, and I think I'm going back into it. I'm currently talking with Reuters in London to arrange a position in their London office, with the hope of eventually being posted to China as a correspondent to either Beijing or Shanghai. I think it's incredibly important. I've met some alumni from Oxford in other places, for example in China, who weren't studying China, and they seem to maintain these very strong alumni networks and would meet up with fellow Oxbridge or Oxford students at different places around the world as they travelled around. I think also it's very important to maintain the strongest alumni networks within the faculty in which you studied, because those are the people that are going to be in your immediate career prospects in terms of being able to help or being able to draw on their expertise in different ways.
In 20 years, 30 years, the friendship or your classmates are one of the most important treasure in your life. So do keep in contact.